Welcome everyone. Today we are going to look at this game that I played when I was 900. So let's dive right into the game. But first, let's turn off the evaluation because we want to relate to these 900s to feel the fear that they fear, to feel what they fear in the game because it's easy to go look at the stockfish lines and say, haha, you did this, you're a poor chess player, but actually no. We see in this game that it's quite a different feeling. E4, E5, knight f3, bishop c5. Normal opening, although he loses a pawn. This is a gambit. Basically, I'm guessing that there is queen f6 or something like knight f6. I don't really know. Actually, queen e7, d4. I don't know. Queen f6 will go into some lines of checkmate. Okay, but d6 here, knight f3, knight f6 develops just down a pawn, but that's a pawn only, and the opponent gives it back. Um, you look at your pieces, what are every piece doing? This is looking there. Do your visualization exercise, guys. Do all of this stuff. This looks there, and if you see that this is pinned, you can take it. But yep, there I go, not taking it. He takes, I take with the bishop. Queen checks. Queen checks are not really preferred here. I guess the idea was queen e7, but bishop e7 happens. Castles. He develops. Uh-oh, now I play rook e8. Does he castle or does he blunder some discovery? He castles. Very nice. No blunders yet. What do you do now here? What do you do here? Your first instinct might be to move the bishop and give a discover check. I mean, discover attack. But actually, what is the best here? The best here is to actually chill and wait for the right moment. You should develop pieces. I do just that. The best move. The opponent plays queen out, away from the attack. What do you do here? Oh, he's attacking the bishop. That's a very sneaky idea. But again, this knight is quite passive. It's not doing anything here, so you move it back to defend the bishop. That's two engine moves in a row to move the knights. Wow, that was crazy. God himself could not cherish these 900s enough. So d3, activating the bishop. Bishop d6. Okay, opening up the rook and putting pressure this and this way. Bishop g5, pinning and developing. I really like this. This is so far really good. You see, now when the development is done, now is when the crazy happens. I first take the knight. They say that bishop is better than a knight, and you should not trade it unless you get something from it. But I think I wanted this fork. Yes, I really wanted this. And I think I calculated that after the only move to defend the bishop, queen f4, I thought this looked really good. And now there may be tactics, there may be knight g6, but actually there's a problem. If you play this, you may get away with it. You may get away with it, but there's bishop f6. And if you take, there's check. And if you take, then you lose the piece. So it might not work out in your favor. But I didn't go for it. I took the bishop instead. So now it's an equal trade. Knight e4, hoping that I take so I lose the queen. So what do you do here? What do you do here? Because you want to move the knight, but you can't. You want to move the queen, but if you move the queen, your structure gets, you lose a pawn. So, do you play rook e6 here? Do you, but actually if you play rook e6, then it's an equal trade, but the structure is quite poor. I would not go for this. So these calculations. Okay, so The best here is to bring the bishop back, and if your bishop is attacked by a knight, you most of the times move it. That's what I've done. So I defend against this. He takes, I take. A lot of frays happen. I I keep the queens on because I'm down a pawn and I want to create threats. Now he gives a check and my rook could get to an open file. I would actually defend this with the queen and then move the rooks up so that I could get quick development with tempo. Instead I play rook there. That hangs a pawn. You see all the queen's movement and I see it. Very nicely done. Sometimes I would not see it. He develops the rooks. He's giving up 2 pawns for development, but that's yeah, okay, yeah. I think I know what he's doing. He's kind of going offside here. G4, trying to attack, but I think you should not push your pawns in front of the king. He cannot move this rook there. He really cannot do much here. But what you should do here then is that you should remaneuver the queen, create more threats, and then perhaps join in with the rooks so that you can move freely. Instead g4, and now this could give me a chance to play rook g8. If he defends, then that's all kind of weakening, and there are many ways to maybe trap the queen if he's not careful, except it will hang this pawn. But actually, wait, if there h3, there queen f7, you can maybe go queen f4 here. You can look for ways to get closer. You defend this, but you are already almost in. Let's say queen rook d7. Then you have this takes, and you not only maybe do win a queen, but this king is very open, and you win maybe some rooks. That would be a very nice way to win. So put more pressure on the position, and when he defends, you may just calculate that you could go all in, maybe queen f4, and then if the queen moves, the queen has to stay guarding. Then you have these tactics here. Then you have these very cool tactics here. But you always have to look that if you don't give checks, you have to look for their checks. Very important. But instead I play rook a to e8, king g2, queen e4 check. Yeah. King g2 is like waving a flag, red flag, up against the bull. The king is not the piece you should move here. I guess queen f5 is still here, because the queen is offside here. It needs itself. Maybe rook d3 to go rook h3. I think that would be a very effective idea. You have to play queen e4 here to guard against mate. Kind of tough to see as it's the only move, but I do play it since it's a check. Queen c2, yeah, getting to the second rank, giving a check, and I could win this pawn. I actually could. But I go rooks on the 7th rank. A good concept, except for when you need to prepare it. Because in order to play rook e2 here, do not hang this pawn, you should play king g8. Perhaps play king g8. And he cannot give checks, and then you can play this. Or play rook f8. Very defensive, but it's good because that's the only idea white has, and in order to get new ideas, he has to come up with new ideas. So I play rook there, he takes, since it's the only idea that the queen has there. And now here, I'm a bit scared here, because I am calculating this, and I don't see a win for black here, without losing this pawn perhaps, since there is also this rook infiltrating. I would see that there is a check, but what if king f4? There is no obvious check here. There is no obvious check here. Because all the checks lose the material here. Now you could say, okay, there is king f4, then rook takes pawn, because if you take, there is perhaps checkmate. But it's all very tough to see a few moves ahead. It's very tough to calculate when you're down 4 minutes. You should not sacrifice or calculate so complicated lines. You should go defend and then play it simple. Because when I have this position, I take this pawn and I blunder this one. And my king is in deep trouble. I think even rook d7 here could win the game. Because if I go there, I lose the rook. I don't think I can stop mate. There is queen b2 to cover this, but there is queen f7 and checkmate. So I think rook d7 was the best, but rook d8. Now here I do give this check, and he does not go to f4. He instead allows me this pawn, and now what? Yeah, I get in with closer with the queen. What is the winning idea here? Is there a win even here? Well, I think that you should trade off the rook since it's under threat and it's pinned. So I do it. Now the queen here is quite active, but we are quite close as well. The rook has not developed yet. Now it tries to develop. It tries to develop. Here you have 1.5 minutes. Yes, you are down 5 minutes, but you have to look for checks, captures, attacks. This is very, very dangerous. You have to give a check here. You have to give a check here. This is the only check. Only check. This loses the queen. This loses the queen. Only check. And it forces the trade-off. There might even happen that he hangs the queen, but so this is a must, and you're up a pawn here. You're doing well. You're doing well, and you can practice your bullet skills with rook games now. Unfortunately, rook h3, the concept of a very lonely king here does not come clear to me. And I tried to go for checks myself, but all checks lead to Rome and I get checkmate. This king here boxed this king in, and all is lost. So analyzing this without an engine is quite tricky. You have to improve in tactics in order to see some good only move win. But you did not have to have tactics here. You find the check that forces a queen off. This was only about visualization and the concept of giving checks because his check would have been very deadly. So what could have done? What could have been different there? I don't mind the opening gambit. Perhaps I got more development. Yes, this is kind of a blind spot. Perhaps happens. But other than that, it was a really nice game. Developing pieces, not going for one-move threats. Trying to get some win here, but it doesn't really work. Down a pawn, still. And here, it's all equal. I think down a pawn is nothing here. Yes. You can defend, and then you can take when he blunders. 900s do blunder something at times. b3. Yes. King g2 and g4. Now g4. You should not push your pawns in front of your king. There is a maneuverment. You can get easy attack here if you maneuver correctly. Let's say queen f5 here, I said. And then go for rook d3. It may be slow, but you don't you centralize the queen, you centralize pieces. You have to centralize pieces here. Everything is on the edge, and then I go and take the whole center like this. So that's deadly for white. And allowing too many checks, I could actually take this pawn. I should have. I probably should have. Or I think if you don't want pawns, you should go for rook f8 or king g8. First prepare to defend this, then go up to the 7th rank. But other than that, it's very tough. Very tough. But here the only improvement in chess lies in when you look for checks, captures, attacks. Every move you look for all the scopes, checks, captures, and attacks. So if you like this video, I will do some more. Give me some feedback on how I could improve. But you're a legend. If you look this through, I'll see you.